us to say what needs to be said. Fellow John.
Is it haram to eat meat? Is it haram for Muslims to eat meat which has been processed?
Is it haram to eat meat which has been processed? The general summarized answer is no, as long as the processing isn't something that's clearly harmful and destructive to the body and to the mind. Clearly destructive to the body and the mind, harmful, dangerous to the body and the mind. The word process is a very wide, broad word. Many things are processed. Okay, whether it could be a hot dog, a sausage, a hamburger, a patty. Everybody clear on this? Certain meats may be, certain things are added to the meat. It may not actually even be meat. Okay, we say byproducts or whatever, tongue, ear, so on and so forth. What is important is, as long as this food or this substance that you're eating came from an animal that was permissible, that was slaughtered in a proper manner, and the salt, the spices, things, whether they're natural or unnatural, with regards to preserving the thing, as long as it's proven to be excessively harmful to the body, destructive to the body, there's nothing wrong with that. And you may say, what's meant by excessively destructive or harmful to the body? Anything that's destructive or harmful isn't bad, but there's relative terms. Salt in a gross amount is harmful and destructive to the body, but in a moderate amount is something which is good for the body, or something that doesn't at least harm the body. And we start talking about processing of food, the sodium, the salt, the spices. If it's too much, that's one thing. Consuming it too much, that's one thing. What's important is, as Allah says, Kulu washrabu wala tusrifu. Eat, drink, and don't be excessive. Because Allah does not love the musrifin. Innahu la yuhibbul musrifin. Allah does not love those people who go excessive, who go overboard. So there are certain foods in the modern organic era, the vegan era, the GMO era, the gluten-free era. You find the craze nowadays. Oftentimes the food itself is not harmful. The food itself is not destructive to the body or the mind. But you drink it 5 times a day. You drink 2 liters. That's a different story. 1 cup. As he said, they interviewed him. He was one of the spokesman representatives of Coca-Cola. I'm not saying this is my opinion. I'm just giving you the faida. He said a cup of Coca-Cola is not going to kill you. It's not going to do anything to your body. It's not going to destroy you. Okay, now you take 2 liters of it every single day, before, after, different story. You eat a piece of processed meat from here and then, it's not necessarily going to, but you keep eating it every single breakfast. Everybody understand this? So oftentimes, it's not what you eat, but it's how you eat it and how often you eat it. Just like medicine. It's not always the medicine, but it's how is the dosage. How's the medicine administered? 1 pill does nothing. You got to take 3 pills. 1 pill before eating may not work for the body. You have to eat it, what? You have to take the pill after you have something in your belly. So this is a very important concept of what? Fiqh. Of what? Of fiqh. If you eat too many vegetables, too many things, too much whole wheat, 8-grain bread, what is it going to do to your body? So excessiveness, let alone the concept of the natural way that you eat things, your diet. For example, some people, they may eat meat every single meal. Is that good for the body? For you to eat meat every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack, beef jerky, turkey snacks, Sharifa was the company, right? Nam, is that good? Is that why people are getting sick, or the meat is bad itself? Maybe the meat is nothing wrong with red meat, but who told you to have a steak for breakfast, a cheese steak for lunch, a ribeye steak for dinner, and have beef jerky between those meals? That amount of red meat is what causes so on and so forth. For example, everybody understand this? So if you just look at the average person's breakfast today, what most people eat for breakfast? Sausage and eggs, for example. Pancakes, waffles, French toast with meat. When's the last time you had a bowl of oatmeal A bowl of warm, hearty, wholesome oatmeal. Well, not a bunch of sugar on top of it, just oatmeal. Maybe some sliced almonds, maybe some dried cranberries. Huh? At best, apple slices, blueberries. Huh? When's the last time you just had oatmeal? When's the last time you gave your body a what? Some type of break. Huh? Sugar. Is sugar bad? Some people say sugar is bad. Sugar should be haram. It's no different than the khamr. It destroys the body. It causes diabetes. What type of sugar? How much sugar? Everything has to have a what? A balance. So that's my opinion with regards to processed meat. It depends on what's the processing of the meat. Some processed meat, I would say stay away from, and it could be haram because it's clearly destructive to the body. And there's some processed meat in which, let's say, homemade sausage, is you grind it up yourself. You know what's being put into it. That's totally what? Different story. So the process itself is of different types, different stages, different ingredients. Hopefully that's clear. But the general rule is nothing wrong with it, especially if it's done in moderation. And as I said, the term processing is a very vague and what? Broad term. Everybody clear on this? You can process meat from an animal that you just hunted. It hasn't been in a freezer. It's no other things, and you process it yourself. You make it into patties or sausage yourself. And that is called what? Processing it. Now, what goes in the factory, 50 different chemicals. The list of ingredients is a paragraph long. That's a what? That's a different story. Wallahu alam. Fadl.
Is it wrong for a person to be vegan and promote this to other Muslims?
Question says, is it wrong for a person to be a vegan and promote it to other Muslims? My humble opinion, I would say yes. I would say it's wrong and haram to be a vegan and to promote veganism, without a doubt. Be a vegetarian, different story. Being a vegan, it says in my humble opinion, I never said this was Islam, or the hadith says this, or the ulama. My humble opinion, you cannot be a vegan and be a Muslim unless you're really ignorant and you have some type of an excuse. My interactions with vegans is that there are people who not only choose to avoid eating meat, to avoid eating certain types of plants and avoiding certain sugars and things like this, but they say these things are bad and harmful, and a man was never meant to eat meat. And eating meat comes from cannibalism. It's a means of you being an animal and a savage, eating meat, digging through flesh, rotten flesh. It destroys your brain. It makes you aggressive. It makes you a killer. It makes you a murderer. It makes you a rapist. Your body cannot handle it. It's going to cause you cancer, diabetes, every living sickness and vice on the face of the earth. From what my experience is, vegans, they say, comes from what? Eating meat. So let's look at that one concept of veganism and then look at the Quran. Where you want to start? Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Al-Ma'idah, Surah Al-Hajj. What does Allah Azza wa Jal say about Bahimatul An'am, the cattle? He made the cattle, he mentioned the cattle as a blessing, that he made it subservient for our usage. He made the camel easy and obedient, domesticated. The cows, the sheep and the goat for our benefit. Drinking of their milk. مما في بطونها ولكم فيها منافع كثيرة ومنها تأكلون. Allah says, what? You drink from the butun, from their bellies. You drink from their milk. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَنَافِعُ كَثِيرًا. And there are many benefits that you take from these animals, and you eat from them. You eat from them. So Allah mentioned this as one of the greatest blessings upon man, that he can eat meat and take a benefit from it, a faida from it, energy, warmth, comfort, protein. So to say that now this same meat, without any exclusion or exception, is harmful to the body, to the digestive system. It causes you to be a sick murderer. It causes you to be aggressive and volatile. How can that go with that one verse in the Quran? There's one. Everybody understand this? Someone who's a vegetarian, who may be more mild and moderate, may be a bit different. I prefer not to eat meat. I don't eat red meat. I stopped eating these things because of my body, how it makes me feel. I feel sluggish. My kidney, my diabetes, my doctor. That's one thing. A vegetarian may say, I know that you eat meat. Don't eat meat, but so much. As we just said, give your body a break. Maybe your skin is oily. You have excessive acne because you have too much meat that you eat. But to say that it's totally bad and harmful and it's poison to the body. Milk is poison to the body. As if you're drinking the mucus of the cows, what they say. Eggs. Say these things are toxic to the body. It's a problem when you read the Quran and you read the Hadith. The Prophet, he ate meat. He gave the Sahaba meat. He offered his family meat. How long did he pray? How much times did he fight in Allah's cause? How much energy did he have? How many times how often did he fast? How beautiful was his face? How soft were his hands? The type of meat, different story now. The processed meat, as you just said. The animal that's being stuffed and fattened, that's sitting in one place, versus the animal that naturally grazes, the animal that naturally develops, the animal that's peacefully, calmly slaughtered, and the list goes on. So I don't see how a person can be a vegan on that level of intensity and still believe and be a Muslim without making kufr akbar and some of the basic fundamental precepts of veganism. And that's to my limited what? Knowledge. Wallahu alam. Fadal.
Assalamu alaikum. MC from New Jersey. Can you donate your organs once you die and also while you're alive?
Wa alaikum assalam to Allah. It's best not to donate the organs. The body should remain in the way in which Allah Azza wa Jalla created it. The sacredness of the deceased Muslim is like the sacredness when it is alive, as it's mentioned in the Athar. The hurma, the sacredness of the Muslim's body is like that of his body when he is alive. All right? Also, the fact that the limbs and the organs are considered to be credit. It's something that is given to you as a loan. It's an amana. It is not for yours to destroy, to mutilate, to play around with how you want to. So therefore, there lies no doubt that that's what's best. And there are some of the ulama of the present day fuqaha who may say that it's permissible to donate organs, especially if the people need them. The people, they may need them. It's a need, it's a necessity. However, it's best not to donate the organs and not to allow your organs to be donated. Wallahu alam. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
What about blood?
Blood is a different story. Blood is something that's passed in and out the body. It's different. The organ is, in most cases, doesn't what? Doesn't grow back. Wallahu alam. No, that's a whole different story now. That's a whole different story now. Because cremation, there is no necessity behind cremation except for the issue in which there's a country which is extremely overpopulated. And I'm not saying that that's permissible. But the concept of that could, in my humble opinion, could be the only thing which is a need for a body to be cremated and not buried. As far as the organ, that's a different story. People are dying, liver transplant, heart transplant, so on and so forth. Different story. And in most cases, the cremation is going to be a religious symbol or just the concept of getting rid of the body. Let alone taking an organ out of the body is not like burning the body. Wallahu alam. Fadal.
Assalamu alaikum. For a lot of words you have said. H.A. Berkshire, UK. Can you advise us on how to make the most of Ramadan and make it fruitful, inshallah?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you and reward you well and keep all of you safe in the UK. As far as making the best out of the month of Ramadan, my humble advice with regards to this issue is to save up money before Ramadan. Work extra hard. Save a lot of money up before Ramadan. Save up money. That way you can do the following things. Number one, perhaps you can make perhaps you can make Umrah. Number two, perhaps you can take off more days in Ramadan. Work extra hard, work extra overtime. Maybe if you work at a place where they're non-Muslims, do those non-Muslim co-workers a favor. Any weekend you went off, I'll work 2-3 shifts. But when Ramadan comes up, I need you to take care of what? Take care of me. You got that? I'll give you double because it's so worthy. It's so precious. I'll work double. You just pay me back what? 1. In Ramadan, I need as many days off. Talk to your boss. Do extra. Save up money. That way you can give more sadaqah in Ramadan. That way you can feed more people in Ramadan. So the first piece of advice is to save up as much money as you can before Ramadan. Everybody clear on this? That's what I would do. Handle all your responsibilities that you have to do, that you have to take care of. Try to do them before time. So when the month comes, you're as free as you possibly can with regards to devoting yourself to ibadah. The Quran al-Kareem, first and foremost, reading it, memorizing it, reviewing it, spending as much time as you can in the masjid, spending as much time as you can with the Muslims, hanging out with the Muslim brothers and sisters as much as you can in that month. Make the month as special as you can. Also, save up as much money as you can for the Eid. The way if you have children, you can treat your children. Show them a really nice time, a really nice day. Give them a really nice holiday. Whereas you don't want them to celebrate Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, so on and so forth. I don't know what other holidays they may have in the UK, holy days, but try to make the holiday for the Muslims as grand as possible for them to take pride in their religion. We are Muslims, we have fun, we have a good time, we have our honor, things we take pride in. And it's not just about worship and swollen feet. It's a very important concept, especially in 2017. Especially in 2017. So save up as much money as you possibly can, work as hard as you can before Ramadan. That is my piece of advice with regards to this. Obviously, you want to hear the other pieces of advice with regards to kada, taraweeh, alhamdulillah. It is valuable. But we try to give you something that you're not necessarily going to hear from those other sources. That's my advice. Money. Stack money before Ramadan. Say what? Khalas. Fadal.
Samir Musallim, Toronto, Canada. Assalamu
Next
alaikum.
question. Wa alaikum assalam to Allah.
Dear guide, may Allah bless you. Is there anything which restricted the amount of steps a person can take once the congregation prayer is over and he has no sutra?
Is there anything that, where's this person from?
Toronto.
What was the initials?
Samir.
That's Samir?
Yeah, Samir Musallim.
Next question.
Assalamu alaikum, barakatuhu fikum. Barakallahu fikum. AA from NYC. How should one argue with a Muslim who says the Prophet wasn't illiterate and hadith prove it? And what's the ruling on the statement? Jazakallah.
Wa alaikum assalam to Allah. Why do you have to argue? What's the point of arguing? There's no point in arguing. This is what I believe. This is the proof. You can read it yourself. If they accept it, alhamdulillah. If they don't, khalas. It's just that simple. Was the Prophet ﷺ illiterate or not? The hadiths that prove it. If the hadiths are so clear that you believe that the Prophet was illiterate, he could not read or write, and the person doesn't accept it, what can you possibly tell them? وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا فَمَا لَهُ مِن نُورٍ. Whoever Allah says in the Quran al-Kareem, those whom Allah doesn't make light for, they'll never have what? Light. So it's just that simple. Now, if it's not that clear, that's a different story. But if the hadiths are with that amount, if they're that lucid, that plain, and the person refuses to take them, how can the Prophet be illiterate? How can the Prophet say something can't read, can't write, so on and so forth? He said, I can't help you because the cup is what? Too full. I can't pour anything in it. So there's no point in arguing with that person. Don't waste your time. Wallahu alam. Father Muhammad.
Are the sideburns like part of the beard? And is it permissible to shave them?
Are the sideburns part of the beard? Yes, they are. Once it comes past here, down here, it's a part of the beard, and it is haram to shave them. The beard is here, the chin, hair as well. Is all part of the beard. On the face, on the cheek is all part of the beard, as is found in the traditional, classical Arabic dictionaries and lexicons. That's all part of the lihya. It is impermissible to shave that. Wallahu alam. That's in brief, obviously.
I say, Oakland, California. What Islamic knowledge should I acquire in order to become an effective therapist or Muslim?
What Islamic knowledge can I acquire to become a what? An effective therapist. Well, it depends on what type of therapist. It's different types of therapy. Physical therapy, mental therapy, psychological therapy, psychiatric, so on and so forth. But in general, every Muslim has to have enough knowledge to practice their religion correctly, first and foremost. So before you think about your own patient or patients or clients, think about yourself. Secondly is, you need the basic knowledge to allow you to perform your task without breaking any of Allah's rules. Anything that goes against the deen. Everybody clear on this? If you're a physical therapist, you have to know the rulings of the awarat. What is awra? What is what? What is awra? What can you can or cannot see from a man or a woman? Everybody clear on this? You must know the rulings of mixing or free mixing. If you're a fitness trainer, that's what type of therapy you do. Can you be in the gym? Is it permissible to be around men and women wearing tight clothes? It's very important, okay? The concept of any type of therapy that you're doing. Somebody coming in there confessing their sins to you. A drug addict, an alcoholic, someone who's hooked on gambling. Is it permissible for this gambler, this addictive, chronic gambler to come and tell you his sins? Everybody understand this? It may be, it may not be permissible. You need to know what? Those rulings. Secondly is, the more Islamic knowledge you have, especially of the Quran and the secrets of the Quran and the gems, the jewels, the crystals of the Quran, I think that your job will be more effective and you'll be able to give the people potent medicine from the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Last but not least, even more important than knowledge is discipline. As the wise man once said, the greatest thing that a warrior can lose is his discipline. The greatest thing that a warrior can lose is his discipline. And a Muslim is supposed to be a warrior. A student of knowledge is supposed to be a warrior. A scholar is supposed to be a warrior. You're fighting for a cause. And if you lose your discipline, that's the greatest thing that you can be stripped of. And what I mean here by discipline is knowing when to say, I do not know. Allahu a'lam. La adri. I can point you with someone who does know. I can steer you in the direction of some beneficial information. I do not know. Now, you may say, what's the point of all of this? What are you saying? Warrior, what is this kalam? I know maybe many people you're thinking this, without a doubt. What is Mufti ranting about, right, Khalid? No doubt. Out of this room, how many people? And maybe half. What is he talking about, right? There lies no doubt that the average person who is not an Islamic scholar, doctor, lawyer, anything, but they have a high level of education, they have a good, lofty profession, most of the time when they're asked certain Islamic questions, they don't say Allahu Alam. They don't say I don't know. And many, if not most people, they think because they're so intelligent and highly trained, it automatically qualifies them to be a what? An Islamic scholar as well. And if you don't believe me, then just read and look. Go on the internet and see how many people are speaking, teaching, calling. They're just doctors of law, doctors of medicine. But because I'm so smart, I'm so highly trained, I make so much money, I have such a high status, it automatically qualifies me to what? Talk about the deen. There's no doubt about that. Don't take it from me. And there lies no doubt these people, they lack discipline. Yes, you're a brain surgeon. You practice or you study rocket science and other things, astrophysicists, biochemists, or whatever the case may be. You're very intelligent, you're very highly trained, but it has nothing to do with what's in these books. It has nothing to do what? In these books. A brain surgeon under the hood of a car. Sheikh Khan, what is he going to do under that hood?
Bump his head.
He'd bump his head. He don't know anything. And he's a what? Brain surgeon. You open up someone's brain, the most delicate hands, how much knowledge, science is in his head. Under the hood of the car, what? Rotator, what? Doesn't know. It doesn't mean that he's stupid, he doesn't have intelligence, but that's not his what? That's not his field. And there are different types of intelligence. Every human being has an intelligence. Every human being has some level of genius to them. Every human being. People who are builders, who make things, they look at things totally different than how other people. The scholar, the poet, is not like a carpenter or a plumber. That pipe right now, a person takes a certain mind to know how to run that pipe. And instead of making it on a different part of the wall, just bend the pipe and wrap it around the wall. Is this not the case? It's something so simple, but the poet has not a what? He doesn't have a clue. Oh, just put the pipe on it. No, it's not that. Back, done, finished. So everybody has their own level of intelligence. So this doctor or therapist must have discipline, not to speak about things that you do not know about, and it can easily be done. And oftentimes it's based off of shyness. I'm too shy to tell my client that I don't know. You're supposed to have the answers to everything. That's why I pay you. That's why I come to you, Yusuf. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know. And there's nothing wrong with that. let alone the sweet taste of being a scholar. Feels good. Alhamdulillah. There's no doubt. The ego can take over you. And you feel, I'm the man. Yes, that's permissible. Yes. And if you don't believe this, then just look on YouTube. How many people were asked to give a speech about their lives? I used to be a Christian, and now I'm a Muslim. I used to be a drug addict. I used to be a rapper, a punk rocker, kada. And now it started from giving a talk on their lives, how they became Muslim, to doing what now? Giving fatwa and giving detailed scholarly speeches and talks. Why do you think? Because of what I just mentioned. And Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, Man fatatu Allahu alam usibat maqatiluhu. He says, anyone who misses and who fails to say Allah knows best, usibat maqatiluhu. What? Across the throat. As we said, the greatest thing that a warrior can lose is what? His discipline. And that is the thing which gets you to pump the brakes, slam the brakes. I do not know. It's nothing embarrassing. It doesn't take from my status. Allahu alam. And we read this already, the fawaid that can be taken from that statement. And Allah knows best. Fadal. Time, see? I'm not a what? I'm not a mechanic. But I think I said rotator and not rotor. You got it. If you're going to criticize, you got to what?
It can be right. It can be right. If all the car had a rotor inside, it could distribute. Yeah, a rotor.
How do you know I don't know that?
In the distributor, the older car didn't have
Khalid, how do you know I don't know that? Tell you. Jazakumullah khairan. Tayyib. Next question. Fadal.
Zahir, Birmingham, UK. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh. I'm suffering from waswasa and salah in wudu. It can take me up to 10 minutes for wudu and sometimes more than half an hour for salah. Advice?
First piece of advice is to get a good Muslim friend or good Muslim friends. Hang around good, righteous Muslims that don't have waswasa. And you should feel embarrassed and ashamed that you take 10 minutes to make wudu. If you're around the good Muslim brothers, like, what is wrong with fulan? Okay? And if you feel shamed and embarrassed, then it's going to at least lead you to what? Trying to fix the problem eventually, because you're like, I'm sticking out all of the time. Come on, let's go. It's time to go to the masjid. Wait, I need more time. The first step of getting out of this problem, this addiction, being successful is friendship. Who you hang around is pivotal in any aspect of the religion, of life. Your friends. You have to have good company. And oftentimes, people who have waswasa, I don't know the questioner, oftentimes they're either by themselves or they have friends that are not good and strong. In most cases, they're by themselves. Or when they have the waswasa is when they're by themselves. So be around people. Don't be by yourself. Have good company. The second clue, or the second piece of advice is for you to realize that it's a battle. It's a struggle. It's a fight. It's not going to be easy. The shaitan whispers. You have your own nafs. You have your own full cup, quote unquote. You have your own subconscious speaking to you, your own fears, worries, insecurities. So it's a fight. And if it's a fight, then you need to keep your guard up. And the first rule is never take your eyes off of your opponent. Never take your eyes off of your enemy. Everybody understand this? Never take your rules off of a suspect, police officer says, to a new trainee, a new detective. Never take your eyes off of the suspect, ever. So the moment you take your eyes off of shaitan and you think that you live a normal life, and I can go to sleep, I can wake up, I can do this for fun, I can not be on guard, is when the shaitan will attack you. Keep your guard up. It's a fight, and the shaitan is going to try to sneak you anytime he gets an opportunity to sneak you. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًا. Indeed, Satan is an enemy for you, Allah says. So because he's an enemy, do what? فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًا. Take him as a enemy. And that means what? Keep your guard up. Do not listen to him. Do not underestimate him. Never ever become lax with your what? With your enemy. إِنَّمَا يَدْعُو حِزْبَهُ لِيَكُونُوا مِنْ أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Allah says he only calls his patrons, for them to be from the people of the fire. But that's the only reason why he's whispering to you, is to get you to not make salat, not make wudu, to make kufr. So do not listen to Satan. Do not lend your ear. Keep your guard up at all time. the next step is to realize that you're not fighting alone. You have support. You have someone that's looking after you. But you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, have to be an ally. You have to accept that protection. And that is Allah Azza wa Jal who created shaitan, who created Iblis, who allowed Iblis to do what he does in whispers. He created him. He is more powerful. He knows. And he said that the plot of shaitan is weak. It's weak. إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. It's weak. فَقَاتِلُوا أَوْلِيَاءَ الشَّيْطَانِ. Allah says, so fight the awliya, the friends and the patrons of shaitan, for indeed his plot is feeble. So Allah Azza wa Jal is stronger. Allah is more merciful. Allah is most truthful. Shaitan is a liar and he's weak. So seek help in Allah. Seek the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know for sure Allah will support you, but you must put forth the necessary efforts. And from those necessary efforts is not to listen to the whispers. From the necessary efforts is to seek Allah's refuge. From the necessary efforts is to avoid precaution. There's no such thing as precaution. There's no such thing as double checking for you. There's no such thing as thinking about it and remembering it with you. There's no such thing as an asl. I made wudu. That's it. Done. I may have broken out. I made what? Wudu. Khalas. Move forward. A person who has a normal mind, who doesn't suffer from the waswasa, he may stop and say, wait a second. I think I took off my shoes when I was in the airport going through security. I broke my wudu. I can't wipe over my shoes now. There's none of that. There's no precaution. There's no ihtiyat for one who has waswasa. Because the moment you start getting precaution, double checking, you fall right back into the what? The lasso of Satan. Wallahu alam.
Nuruddin Birmingham, UK. In the context of currency exchange, knowing that, for example, $1 equals 2 pounds, am I allowed to charge a fee to provide this service, or is it riba? Barakallah fi yadbukum.
Tay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you charge a fee? If you don't charge a fee? You run a currency exchange center. What are you going to do? There's many types of transactions, riba. But there are some things which are what? What can you do? It's how the system is. There's certain things that are what? Unavoidable. Some things that you can't avoid. And if you're going to be in that profession, then you're forced to do what? Certain things. If you're not willing to do those certain things, then you should pick another trade. There's no doubt about that. Wallahu alam.
Tariq ibn Bilal from Michigan. May Allah preserve you and your family. What is your advice to a sister who feels that the position of male scholars can't avoid bias pertaining to the affair of the woman, and that the perspective of women is more sound regarding a woman's affair?
Go and be a scholar yourself, inshallah. You're frustrated with men. Men are biased. Men can't understand women's emotions, feelings, a woman's sexuality, so on and so forth. Men only give fatwa based off of their base desires. Fine. Go be a what? Go learn yourself. Go practice ijtihad, what? Yourself. Let that frustration be the drive for you to learn and study and make your own rulings by Allah's permission. And if you don't have the necessary sacrifice or you're not willing, if you don't have the necessary drive, if you're not willing to study, then you have to be pleased with what you what? Yeah. What you get. If you're unpleased with somebody being your ruler, then make your own what? Make your own state. Make your own city. Leave this evil regime. And if you don't have the necessary or the guts to do what it takes, to make your own, then you can't complain about this oppressive ruler. It's just that what? It's just that simple. That's my advice. Is this true? Is it not true? We're not even going to what? Get into all of that right now. You study yourself. You learn yourself. You read and benefit yourself, and you can learn your own rulings by Allah's permission. Wallahu alam. Imam al-Bukhari, rahimahullah, when he saw there were many books that all types of weak narrations, bogus narrations, he was frustrated. And what did he do? He wrote his own book, in which he considered those narrations in there to be what? He considered it to be a book for authentic narrations. He didn't just sit back and say they're weak books. He did what? Wrote his own book. Everybody understand this? Wallahu alam. That's a big problem that we have. We find problems. Most of us are not willing or unwilling to what? To make the solutions ourselves. Wallahu musta'an.
Hiba Ahmed, Montreal, Canada. Assalamu alaikum. As a Muslim female, is it permissible to take driving classes with a non-mahram male? It is an obligation in my city to take those classes in order to obtain a driving license.
It's an obligation for you to get a driver's license. Do you need a driver's license or is it a want? If it's a want, different story. If there's a need and a necessity, perhaps it could be permissible. Depending on where you're driving, in a public place, there's a camera in the car is monitored, you have good akhlaq, strong deen, he has some type of respect and integrity, perhaps. No camera, it's a secluded area, a far area, you're weak, he's scum, different story. Wallahu alam.
Sultan Michelle, UK. Is it permissible to conceal a valid marriage due to a need, and are 2 women and 1 man allowed to be witness for a marriage contract rather than 2 men?
Is it permissible to have a concealed marriage for a need? Yes. It's permissible if there is a need, a serious need, a legitimate need. All right? Not a want, fear from certain people, but an actual need. All right? And there are many needs, and that's relative from person to person. The marriage, the witnesses to the marriage should be 2 men. There should not be a man and 2 women. It should be 2 men.
Buckinghamshire, UK. Can you please advise someone who is fasting to reduce sexual desire but doesn't see a difference? The hadith says it's like castration, so maybe they aren't fasting properly. Jazakallahu khair.
Wa yakum. How long have you been fasting? That's the first question. It may not work in the beginning, it may take some time, just like anything else, going on a diet or working out. May take some what? May take some time. May take time for your body to be accustomed to it. All right? The concept of what type of fasting it is, not eating and drinking, that in itself should lower the sexual desire. Less energy, your blood, that in itself. But even deeper than that, fasting that comes with the conscientiousness of fasting. I'm fasting. I can't keep looking around and gazing at women's legs and feet and breast and behind. I can't keep thinking about sex because I'm fasting. Reading the Quran, reading the adhkar. When you read the Quran and you're hungry and you're thirsty, your mouth is dry, every single letter that you read and stumble upon, seeking and expecting for the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm sacrificing, I'm suffering, but I'm getting closer, I'm making an ajr. A sin is being removed. That in itself is supposed to take over and dominate the rest of your thoughts. So maybe you're not doing that. Maybe you're not having a proper fast, or maybe you just need time. What is important is that's not what the first thing the Prophet told the people to do. He told them to get married. If you can't get married, then fast temporarily. That's the meaning of the hadith. Fasting is nothing more than a what? Alternative. A temporary solution. But the main solution is that you need to have sex in the permissible manner. Your mind and your body wants it and needs it. Fasting is only what? Temporary. You need to find a wife. What's preventing you from getting married? Why can't you get married? Is it money? Put your trust in Allah. Get a job. Work. Save up. If you have to take a debt, if you had to. What's preventing you from getting married? Your parents. Do not obey your parents at the expense of your miserableness, of your misery. What's preventing you from getting married? I don't want a woman from this race, from this color. Okay, well then suffer. Tafaddal, suffer. And this is the case of many brothers. This is a reality. And many people, and I know personally most people, they're not going to say this. Oh, it's too harsh, it's too raw. This is a reality. I don't want to say no brothers, no people. Many people will not get married and they'll suffer. Mentally, physically, they'll suffer because of race. There's a sister who's available. She's from Bangladesh. I want to marry a sister from Bangladesh. Okay, continue to what? Suffer. Wallahu al-musta'an.
ACNYC, Ozone Park. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. May Allah preserve you, Sheikh. My question is, I work as a security guard at a masjid. Is it permissible to guard during Fard Salah because I'm watching?
Yes, it's permissible to guard during the Fard Salah. However, when you're not watching and when you're off, make sure you make your salah on time and in congregation. But if that's your normal 9 to 5 job, it is permissible for you to guard the jama'ah and not pray in the jama'ah. Secondly comes you making a second jama'ah. Another issue is you making the salah on time and not allowing the time to actually leave. It's permissible. Wallahu alam.
Prince, assalamu alaikum, from New York, Queens. Me and my friends debate this Shia, and he told us that in Sahih Muslim it is said that muwatta is allowed.
Taib. First and foremost, as we said before, the general layman Muslim should avoid debating. Debating should be done by a scholar. Debating should be done by someone who's learned, student of knowledge, someone who has some type of ilm, someone who is aspiring. The layman Muslim should avoid debating unless it's in a classroom under the supervision of a qualified teacher. Just debating with your coworker, your neighbor, bus driver, no, do not debate. That's only for certain people. Secondly is, you're wasting your time debating with a Shia. Number one, let alone the fact that you're wasting your time debating on the issue of mut'ah. What worth is mut'ah? Sahih Muslim. If a person has major problems in the fundamentals of their belief of Allah, of the Quran, of the angels, of the Messenger of Allah, what good is, who is the Imam Muslim? What is Sahih Muslim? It means nothing if the Quran is distorted, if the Quran has been corrupted, if the Quran has been twisted and warped. It means nothing. If the angels aren't trustworthy, if Allah doesn't know everything, what is good is Sahih Muslim? So you're wasting your time, and that is not from the way of Ahl Sunnah al Hadith to argue and to discuss these trivial issues with major cracks in the engine block. And this is the thing that most laymen, people of Sunnah do. They go to a Sufi, and the first thing they want to argue about is dancing and twirling and spinning. Jama'at Tabligh, the very first thing the brother says to Jama'at Tabligh is bid'ah to go out for 40 days. It's bid'ah to do jawla. What is bid'ah, ya akhi? What is bid'ah? Why is it bad? Why is it haram to perform bid'ah? In most cases, this person from Jama'at Tabligh has no what? Clue, period, of what it is. This Sufi doesn't have a clue of the concept of masadir al-talaqi. Where do you take your deen from? This person may think that you can take your religion from a dream. This person may think that the sheikh must be, the disciple is a what? Has to be under the what? Sheikh. You have to study under a sheikh to get spirituality. So what are you talking about? It's haram to dance. It's a bid'ah. Why you got kuhl on your eyes and a turban on your head? This is very common among people. Salafi, Sunni, whatever name or title they get themselves, extremely common. They argue over these issues and they don't realize that that's wrong. And you're not going to go nowhere. And if you do go somewhere, you're not going to go anywhere substantial, let alone a person may cause you to have doubts. So you have to go to the asl. What do you know about Allah? The Ash'ari, Asma wa Sifat, is deeper than Asma wa Sifat. It's deeper than Allah, thumma stawa al-arsh. Hal lillahi makan. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. What comes first? Where do you take the deen from? The aql or the text? It's deeper than that. So you have to go to the what? Source. Scratch beneath the what? Surface. And if you don't, you're definitely wasting your time. Wallahu alam. Father Khalid.
What was the first riwayah revealed to the messenger?
What is the first riwayah revealed to the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam? Allahu alam. Allah knows best. Yani. The concept of revelation with regards to hadith, obviously the question is pertaining to perhaps, or Quran. Quran? The question is, what are these different modes of recitation? We know the Prophet ﷺ, he explained to us the concept of reciting the Quran itself. To recite the Quran in a specific way. How the Sahaba recited the Quran being sent down upon the different what? Sab'at ahruf, 7 letters, the hadith says. Inna al-Qur'ana unzila ala sab'ati ahrufin. It's been sent down upon 7 ahruf, letters, quote unquote. When you differ, then go back to this Arab tribe, to these people with regards to the original dialect of the Quran. That's established in the Sunnah, no doubt about that. In the Quran and the Sunnah. Beautifying the recitation of the Quran, That's established. However, the names, the schools, and the styles, were they during the time of the Prophet ﷺ? We know what the Prophet ﷺ recited is in the hadith is clear and plain. Clear and what? Clear and plain. There's no doubt about that. Carried on by his Sahaba up into the canonization of the Mus'haf and Uthman radiallahu anhu. It's clear. And the other riwayat, the other alfadh, are the what? The side versions of recitation and modes of recitation. So these names and schools and styles, these things were developed and sophisticated later on. But the usul of them is what? Clearly established in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Wallahu alam. That's in brief. That's a very long discussion, but that's in brief. Hopefully that's clear. Fadl.
Is the ordering of the surahs in the Quran, is that divine, or is that...
A difference of opinion among the people of knowledge. The ordering of the ayat, the arrangement of the ayat, without a doubt, is tawqif. Sent down divine, is divinely sent down. As far as the surah being put together in one place, some of the scholars say no. It says ijtihad. But it's all Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like certain surahs have different names. Wallahu alam.
And in Toronto, if you did not have an akika for your child due to them being in the ICU for a bit and then just passing you by, is there a point in having it when the child is a bit older?
Yes, you should do it. You should do it. As the hadith says, the child is at ransom. Murtahanun bi aqiqatihi. The child is held at ransom with his aqiqah. It should be done, even if it's after some time. Wallahu alam.
So here at Birmingham, you say, I'm considering studying in Turkey. Is the salah valid behind those who go to the graves, etc., as is common in Turkey?
If someone goes to the graves in Turkey or any other part of Allah's spacious earth, and they make acts of shirk akbar, calling upon the people of the grave, whether they have a ta'wil or not, whether they have an interpretation behind it or not, they feel that it's not shirk. Period. If they're making an act of ibadah to someone or something in a grave, don't pray behind them wherever they may be. If you know that, do not pray behind them. If you don't know that, if you don't know the details and the specifics, it's obviously best to stay away. So keep precaution, keep your distance. But if you don't know for sure, it's not your job, that's not your responsibility. Unless it's a practice that's extremely well known and as if everybody does it. Everybody does it. That's a different story. Wallahu alam. What's important, you seek knowledge in Turkey. You put your trust in Allah. You keep your agenda. If you want to learn, if you want to benefit, if you want to learn the sunnah and practice the sunnah, if you want to have the correct aqidah, that is exactly what you're going to get. You get what you deserve in life. If you work hard, if you sacrifice, if you train well for ilm, for the true correct knowledge, that's what Allah is going to give you. But if you go there, you don't work as hard, you're not truly sincere, you don't put in the necessary sacrifice, you had doubts already in the UK, or you're a flip-flop, wishy-washy type of person, then you go to Turkey, become an Ash'ari, become Sufi, become total off-the-cliff Hanafi, whatever. That's what happens to most people when they do these things, no doubt. And most people who really go astray after traveling overseas and getting knowledge, even apostating from Islam, when you read, you look at their lives, 9 out of 10 of them were extreme in something from the get-go. They were extreme from the get-go. Or they were lazy. They didn't put in the necessary efforts from the what? From the get-go. Only a fool is just going to go somewhere and just, go crazy over a thing the first time he hears it. Have some sense. What relationship do you have with Allah in the UK? That's going to determine how good you do in what? In Turkey. Now, if you're gullible and naive, don't go to Turkey. Don't leave your home. Stay in the UK. And listen to the people that are upon that which is clear. If you have some type of sense and strength, different story. And what's important is that you have to work hard, ya akhi. When you go and study, you have to sacrifice. You got to work hard. Wallahu alam.
MC New Jersey, if you take your baby to Umrah with you, do you have to shave their head?
No. Muhammad.
Is Tarawih 8 or 20 rakat?
Is Taraweeh 8 or 20? Optional.
Salam, Abdullah from London. Where is Allah and can you explain?
Allah Azza wa Jalla is where He said He was. يَخَافُونَ رَبَّهُمْ مِنْ فَوْقِهِمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. Allah says they fear their Lord from above them and they do what they're told to do. Next
I
question.
just read the question. Can you explain the verse? Ar-Rahman ala arsh
Istawa. Ar-Rahman ala arsh istawa. Ala wartafa'a. Allah is above the arsh. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He said. 7 places in the Quran Kareem, this one wording is mentioned. ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْعَرْشِ الرَّحْمَنُ عَلَى الْعَرْشِ so on ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْعَرْشِ Allah, He rose over the arsh. And not once in the Quran is it say anything else. So, if it was permissible to figuratively interpret the word istawa to istawla or anything else, first and foremost, is that even known in the Arabic language? And if it is, why is it not mentioned in the Quran once? Every single time Allah says istawa. And the word istawa has several meanings in the Arabic language. And from those meanings is ala wa irtafa'a. It's to be above, ascend. That's what it is. It's just that simple. But leave that alone. Don't even deal with that for now. Because that's one of the things that the people want to play around with. And they'll quote certain things. Istawa does not mean ala wa irtafa'a. Okay, no problem. Khair. Just explain the other ayats, let alone the hadiths, in which the direction is used. They say you can't say Allah is in a direction. Why not? Lishla. And Allah used a what? A direction, without a doubt. Min fawqihim. And above is a what? Direction. Allah says, He says, قُلْ نَزَّلَهُ. He what? أَنزَلَهُ. Inna nahnu, we did what? What does Allah say about the Quran? Laylatul Qadr? We don't know now. Allah does what? Sent down. He sent down. And down is a what? Direction. I don't know. In English, where I'm from, down is a what? Direction. Up is a what? If you have another language, I don't know. That's what Allah Ar-Rahman subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, if it's kufr to say that, it's kufr to put Allah in direction, then why did Allah say it? Every single time in every place, Allah says, up and above, Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, what? So it's just that simple. Wallahu alam.
Yasaka, Australia. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Trying to help one of my relatives. He doesn't want to go to masjid. He reckons most of the sheikhs are kuffar. He goes through some books and for proof he goes to the internet. You ask him to study and he says, I already know. You don't need to study just like you know alcohol and pig is haram. I know just like that.
Make dua for him. That's it. Be kind to him. Give him a gift. Don't argue with him. Don't fight with him. Do not argue with him and do not fight with him. Let him be. You have good akhlaq. You have good character. You'll be a dutiful niece. And that's it. Make dua for him. Nothing more. Don't clash horns with him at all. Period. Let him be. Be kind. Be dutiful. That's it. May Allah guide him. You saying your sujood. And that's what? That's it. Class. Nothing more. People want controversy. People want clash. People want conflict. The average person wants what? He wants conflict. Why do you have that on your face? What is that hair on your face? Your mother may say to you, or your aunt, just tell her, I like it. Makes me feel nice. I like it. Everybody understand this? You diffuse the situation. They're automatically looking and expecting for you to say something. It's this and it's kada and kada. I like it. You have a shaved face, and I have a beard. What's the mushkila? Everybody understand this is a very important concept of hikmah. Everybody understand this? I'll give you a brief story and to show you the effectiveness of this technique. We were in New Jersey once, and I was getting to do, it was a conference. You were there, Sharif. You may not there at that time. I had on a jacket like this, but I had the one with the white white buttons, the kung fu jacket, or as a brother said, karate jacket. Even though karate is in a different country, this is from China, karate is from Japan. You didn't have your facts straight. However, Tai Chi vest. So I'm walking in the hallway. I know the brother, good relationship, not gonna mention his name. No, nothing bad about the brother. So he says, Salaam alaikum. He says, what's this? What are you wearing? Oh, I like this. I like martial arts. It makes me feel. I didn't say none of that. I said, what? What's that? And he looked at his jacket. He started smiling. I said, gotcha. Made you look. It's just that simple. You have on a tweed, you have on a vest, a jacket, and I have on a what? What's the problem? Do I have to wear one type of clothes? What's the mushkila? Why is my clothing bothering you so much? And the average person is not looking for this. They're looking for what? Oh, you shouldn't wear things that's not from your country, kada. So your non-Muslim mother or your Muslim mother who is not practicing the sunnah, why do you have to wear dress? Because I like it, Mom. I feel righteous. I like the way it feels. You have on skinny, what's the mushkila? What's the problem? I go to school, I work, I take care, I take out the trash. Does the dress stop me from anything? Does the beard get in the way? Do you have hair in your food? If you don't, what's the what? What's the problem? So the opponent that's in front of you is expecting a clash and a confrontation. By the time he swings, you're supposed to be safely behind him. Just like that. Wallahu alam. I believe we're going to stop here. What time is it then? Okay, inshallah, we'll stop here. And how many more questions are there?
A lot.
All right, after salah, we'll try to take some questions. I know maybe some of the brothers may have some. Inshallah, after the salah, after salat al-isha, jazakumullahu khairan. Anything then? 100% or no? No. 80. Make sense, Sheikh?
Allahu Akbar, Allahu
Can you pause it?
Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة